Hello, guys. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Teachings Lotto Friday Special. All right, guys. Really nice Lotto Friday. Really good Lotto Friday. There was a lot of action today. A lot of things were moving. China names, day 2, day 3 names, bank names. So there was China names. There was banks, day 2, day 3 winners. So there's a lot to recap today for the Lotto Friday. So let's start with a quick introduction. So anybody who's new to me, new to my Twitter, or new to my YouTube, or our new community, we trade a repeatable system called Ripster's EMA cloud system that thousands of traders across the world use to trade consistently and profitably with the system. We trade repeatable setups. Setup is what you trade. System is how you trade. Those repeatable setups, we repeat day in, day out, be it a day trading, swing trading, or even investments. We have a repeatable trading system that we use. So every morning, me and my team, we create a daily game plan for the day, going through all the tickers. We do this live planning for the day. This was the planning for the day. You can see we have news plays, upgrade, downgrades, earning plays. We have earning plays, we have index stocks, Magnificent 7, we have those, and then we have any other. We also have low floats as well. In addition to that, we have support and resistance, and we have initial game plan. You can see that. I actually also share this sometimes free with my Twitter followers. Today I shared free with them. In addition to that, we have our day 2, day 3 repeatable strategy, the strategy that it was invented by me. I did a free webinar on this as well. Today, UNH, CVNA, Morgan Stanley banks, these were some plays from our day 2, day 3 strategy. Usually the main day-to-day ones, I put them on the top. This also I shared on the X on Friday as well. In addition to that, we provide levels for everybody who wants to trade on their own. We provide them SPY, QQQ, and Magnificent 7 levels so that they can use the Ripster cloud system with those support and resistance levels to trade themselves and trade the markets. In addition, we have the daily levels for coin, MSTR, all the cryptos, and Bitcoin. Bitcoin was a nice breakout today as well. We traded it live in the community. I'm usually in the voice in the first few hours of the market open, guiding everybody through the trade ideas, the market analysis, and what is a good setup versus a bad setup. Thousands of traders are on our trading floor. It's very smart, experienced traders all day long, sharing ideas and sharing opportunities to make money in the market. We have a lot of scanners in the community, free scanners worth $500-$600 per month, which are free. We have a bunch of option scanners. We have 3 option scanners, stock scanners, breaking news alerts, breaking news voice alerts, everything that is provided in the community. I will show you my timestamp guidance. Most of my guidance is on the voice, but I will show you a lot of these trades that we do. I also send out it in my own feed in the community, so I will try to show you that. And that's the introduction. Let's start with the first play. All right, guys. Let's start with the biggest trade of the day, Tesla. So let's look at Tesla. What was happening on the Tesla? We had a clear plan on the Tesla in the pre-market game plan that I even tweeted out about that. Bullish bias if 418 holds. 415, 418, 422, those were 2 levels. Since Tesla was gapping up, it was 1 hour chart was bullish, 1 hour EMA clouds were bullish. We were looking to long it, but we were just a little cautious because it's kind of pushing higher from the risk levels. And I was looking at, the best level to enter there. So we were a little patient. Let's look here. So when I saw this swipe candle, that's when I knew that this is going to go, and that's when I told everybody it's okay to long. I gave it a few minutes that it is okay to long. That's when we long. Your stops are at 422s, and then 430 target, 435 target, and let's see how that went, because we longed it, and then we got a flag here. I was on the voice. I told everybody to long it. Once we woke the flag, I gave the 430 target. Then I gave the 435 target. So as you see, most of those our targets are met. And then came our 512 dip calls. This was our dip call that came in on the 512s. Let's see here if I can show you that the dip calls here. So so that was a 512 dip call. So you see that's where I told on the voice that it's good to add. Even I added the 427 5 calls. You take profit, scale out, or use the profit to add further calls. That's how I teach you guys every Friday in the Friday Lottos. So you see that how 427 5 calls, they went from 355. they went way higher, but we always take profit as they go 100, 200%. So you can see that 355 already trading at 6 and probably they went higher. I'll show you later. So that was our 512 call. And there was not only just one 512 call, guys. There was this bunch of 512 calls, this call, 3 times. We got a 3 times calls. No other system will give you the opportunity to add again. You can see that flag breakout, 512 call. This was a 512 call, high of the day breakout. And, continuously guide this in the community, that you can pause the screen and see. We talk about the seller and continuously we keep moving our stops up. If you have original position, if you're long shares or, even options that you want to hold, keep moving stops up. I kept giving the stops higher from 422. We moved the stops to 430s. Then we finally moved to 432s. And then we finally moved our stops to 437s on Tesla. So it was a beautiful, beautiful trade all day. You can see that. Let me show you here. So we had our, let's see here. Yeah. So 430 was our stops. Then our final target was 440s. You can see there, but there was a big seller on 440. I even tweeted about that seller. So you need to, if you making money, you need to understand in the market how to do that. So this was the another curl we took. I just showed you the previous curl. This was on 435. These calls also went from like 232s all the way to $6. These were another couple 100% trade. So I just showed you this was a separate curl setup, and these are the option charts. You can use those option charts as well with the 10-minute stock chart to have a better analysis to long stuff. You can see that here we were bouncing on 50 EMA, and you can see that this was a 435 call that I took on that second curl, and that was the our first curl that we took here. So repeatable all day. That's what you do. I talked about that. That's about you do. Let me see if I can show you in detail here. So we were taking the calls all day long, but we were also watching the sellers, right? Where does this end? Then we saw a big seller, 200,000 share almost later in the day, 440s. So we know that 440 is a big wall. I even tweeted about it that 440 big wall. They don't want to let it go over. If you guys remember, we have traded big gamma trades. If you go on my, go back, you will see the big, watch the previous videos, big gamma walls that gamma breakouts that we traded. So we were cautious about this Tesla level of 440s. And, then what happened was finally I gave the stops under, let's see, where did I give the stops? I think I gave the stops 436. You see, these were the final stops that I gave on Tesla. Those are your final stops, 436.70. And that's a 512. And that when it 512 break, that's when, we took short as well. Let's see. Let me show you. And we always exit, right? We have been making money on it since morning, but we always exit when it's that level. Let me see if I can show you where I was talking about on the floor. So we were doing this 512 shorts, and that's where I was taking those. Let's look here on those options that this is going on here now. I would have shown you the chart, but I was in these 437.5 puts. And that went 300, 400%. I was out most by 250, 260, 70%. I took it. You can see that these went 250%. And that was the setup right here on the 512s. So guys, repeatable setup all day long, multiple long trades. The whole community banked, not because, you're alerting me. I'm trying to teach step by step. You can see this is 512 breaks. You see those were my options, 196. They continue to go. And then I told everybody, do not buy. A lot of traders were, can we swing it? I strictly said, no, you have to understand, sell the news, 3-day weekend. A lot of things you have to understand, right? If you're looking to make money in the market, you need to be smart behind every decision you take. Don't just take by gut feeling, right? You just have to take it with, your proper analysis, not just doing that, right? So even the Ripster trend labels turned bearish. So just tell that. So that was the reason. And even then later in the day as well, Tesla was very heavy. And a lot of traders in the community did kill it. Pro did kill it. Tape was on it. Niner traders did really good. Our trades did 200%. I'm just trying to show you that it's not all talk. We actually execute the system, and I'm showing you that as well. Our trade. So you need to learn the system, right? If it's not able to get over 512s, you can still short it. But you can't short at the bottom because your risk is the 512s. Even if, I was early, but even if those traders who shorted it later, even they made, good lot of profits. A lot of profits are always 100% risk. And if you can make that, if you can make that, couple 100% gain on them, that's nice. You can see Kailu did really good. He took it for 47 cents. He sold at $2.22. So those kind of the Lotto trades we are talking about, guys, that's how it really works. So hopefully you guys learned from this setup. Beautiful long all day guidance. Let's go to the next one. All right, so next one we're going to discuss is MSTR. Let's look at MSTR here. So MSTR, the plan worked. The long worked from the morning, but the problem was the Lottos, right? It's important lesson here on MSTR, the Lottos were loser. Even though you see, since we longed MSTR in the morning, we all longed at the open. We put our stops around 385, but Lottos 100% risk. It was choppy all day. The Lottos we bought it. I bought it at. What was that? $3, $3.50 or something. I shared in the community as well. But those Lottos, I don't have a chart here. I would have shown you. I think our swim is off. Those were, because Lottos will lose your value. They were $3 here, 400 Lottos. And by the time we were trading closed by the end of the day, 395s, they were at $2. Why? Why is that? Because the time value is gone. The morning push, they have time value. Now, at the end of the day, even if it pushes to 400, yes, it will go from 2 to $4, $5, whatever. But if you're holding it from open, they have lost all the value. That's why I keep saying you have to risk 100% on the Lottos. So Lottos today on MSTR was loser. So need to understand that how these work. But the plan was pretty simple. I mean, we didn't have the move. I mean, we have the Tesla move today. We didn't really have the move we were expecting. But let's look at MSTR today. Right, so it was on our game plan. If you want to look at the game plan from the morning, let's go here. The game plan from the morning is Friday it runs mostly. Trump reported, Bitcoin was strong, right? So room to 400 if 376 hold. So that was the game plan. Room to 400 if 376 hold. So I gave the long right at the open, and we were looking for this flag breakout. Looking good. We got the move, but it was choppy. It was being suppressed. After that, I finally gave up because my Lottos were going to zero anyways. So I just left it alone. But the other way to trade is, you can see how it was behaving, right? Break here, goes back to, back up here on the breakout again. So I left it alone. Because when this action is happening in the morning, we are not getting out of these range. What is this for like 2-3 hours? We don't want to waste our time there. This is not what we are here for. The boxes, So if you were, if you're trading next week's calls, perfectly fine. That was, you probably profited. A lot of traders did actually had a profitable trade. But since we are talking about Lotto Friday, so we want to talk about Lotto Friday. If I bought, I actually scalped some shares on this, 59 to $61 there. But main thing was Lotto, because we were talking about Lotto calls today. So I want to talk about why the Lottos were losers. This is why, I had like a few grand worth, and I think they all go to zero. But that's what it is about. The Lottos are 100% risk, based upon these setups. So you see that MSTR long from the morning. Since the long, if you just bought the shares, MSTU 59, you ignore the little bit chop, you still made a couple of bucks. Or if you're long MSTR, you still made something, even of the shares, you had 100 shares, you made $600, $700, $800, whatever. But overall, it's better to leave these trades alone if they're not working in the morning and stick with something like Tesla. So anyways, MSTR, Lotto loser. That was just wanted to recap. Let's go to the next one. All right, next one we're going to look at Coin. Again, Coin was similar to MSTR. So Coin was a good long in the morning. This was mostly on the voice. I gave the target of 300 because if you go to our pre-market planning, so we had that 292, 293 level. And not only that, I was continuously talking about the Bitcoin breakout, which was a huge breakout. This in the morning, I was giving the 104, 105 targets. It was a huge breakout. But these derivative stocks were not really moving. Coin moved nicely. Yeah, it went to my 300 target that I gave on the voice, but it was still okay after this chop. Once you see this, just get out, right? So it's important to understand these choppiness a lot of Friday to make sure you don't lose your money. Just step away. You made a little bit of money, just step away, right? So that was the coin today, MSTR as well. So coin morning recap here. Just a small recap on coin. Let's go to the next one. So next one we want to look at is JD. So JD. So if I'm talking about JD, let's just talk about all the China names, right? So China names. Anyways, let's just first discuss JD and then we'll talk about China names. So JD posted solid fourth quarter results. And the plan was these were the levels: 37.20, 37, resistance 37.60, 37.71. No long under 512, gap fill watch. So plan was if it breaks 512, we will fill the gap, right? We will not long it. But JD, incredible strength on JD. And China was strong. We'll discuss next why China was strong. And it confirmed long right away. It confirmed long right here. It actually confirmed long right here. You could take it long right there. Use the levels I gave in the pre-market. You could take it long right there. Put your stops around that 37.20 area. And look here, guys. Exactly the levels I mentioned, 37.20, exactly that's where it's bouncing. Why is that? That's no coincidence. This is how the support resistance work, guys. You see that? How JD was bouncing right from that level, which level I tweeted on that in the pre-market because we planned those levels in the pre-market. And there was no gap fill. And once that bounces, reclaim, that's a long, that's your risk, that's your long confirm. I gave the target of 39 from 37.60. We hit the 39 target. Up to you, log half, log 60%, log 70%. Hold the rest as long as 512 holds. And end of the day, it again pushed to 39.20. There was another setup end of the day as well. So JD, beautiful, successful trade. Let's go to the next one. Complete guidance, pre-market planning. Let's talk about the China now. So what was going on with China? China held over JD trade. So China, if you see, there was a second on the game plan. Watch the China names. We have so much going on. I give this plan to everybody. So I give this plan. You trade whatever you want to trade, right? I try to guide through everything. You see that how traders are saying we have everything well organized. Special thanks to Nirvad for saying that. But you can see how the traders are saying well organized. Never seen anything like before. He can trade even as a working professional, right? So really appreciate what Nirvad said, but that's what we try to do, right? So that's what we try to do. We have everything set up. See, China names were given. If you like China names, you trade China names. And right, the news was coming on China, and China names were light, long scalps right at open. BIDU, look at that. Baba, look at that. FUTU. Look at those China names, right? Of course, JD was already on our and this was all on the voice. This was fast-paced scalp trades. Because we were already trading so much, but definitely there was money to be made if you focused. And we have our news board. Our news board was speaking about what Trump is saying about China, and that kind of gave us those big push, right? So nice push, nice trades on all these China names. If you just have to be ready. Let's go to the next one. So let's look at the next one, RIVN. RIVN was a loser today. It was a loser. So let's see what was the plan on RIVN. Let's look here. So RIVN, we were looking at, let's see here, RIVN. Yeah, only long if push is over 15. So that was our plan. And once RIVN was pushing over 15, that's when I told everybody long it. But it failed the premium. There's a reason it failed, right? We know why it failed, and that's fine too. Because it's not that we are clueless why it did not work. It was 34.50 long, and when it failed and broke under 512, we stopped out at 10 a.m. I told everyone to get out. if it had broken out of the pre-market highs, we could have added more, but we know why it didn't work. We executed the plan, so happy with that. RIVN loser today in the community. All right, let's look at some of the other players from the game plan. Let's look at QRVO. So QRVO was a neutral bias. It was Barclays raised the profit target 163, 162, 165. QRVO was all day trending. QRVO was all day trending here. You just I saw the strength, same setup as RIVN. I said watch the pullbacks long, and it actually held, broke out the pre-market highs. So you can see what was the difference between RIVN and QRVO holding the 3450 clouds, and you can see how it pushed over that level. Where is it? Right here, right? The level we had here on QRVO. Right here. Sorry, that was looking wrong one. So 80. So QRVO, 77, 78.50. Resistance was 80. Bullish bias. Daily gap fill. Cautious of the 512. When it held here, it became a long. When it pushed over 512s, confirmed the long. But let's look at a daily chart on QRVO. Why did I say that it's a good long? This was the reason. That's why it was the day long. So look here, right? So that was the reason that it was a long. That's why I mentioned that. That's why I mentioned daily gap fill, right? So that's a gap that we are trying to fill. That's why I mentioned in the pre-market. This is today's video is amazing. We are covering so many concepts. You don't get that often. So you see, this was the gap. That's why I mentioned in the pre-market plan, QRVO bullish bias. Cautious of the 512. Of course, if 512 breaks, we will not long, and there's a daily gap fill. So that's how the QRVO went from $79 to $83. Beautiful, beautiful $3 to $4 share per share profit. Beautiful trade there. Let's look at some other plays from the watch list game plan. Schlumberger was another one. This was again mostly on the voice. Low ATR stock, neutral bias. This was the plan, 4180, 4220. And I don't know if I mentioned it. I did. Yeah, I did mention about it as well. Same setup, right? Similar setup, just like QRVO. And I was talking more about this on the voice. Easy trade. Held our levels, held the clouds, waking the pre-market highs all day long, small ATR, easy $2 per share profit there as well. When I say good, here it means it's a good long, and that's what I mentioned on the voice as well. All right, so let's look at some of these day two setups, which I specifically mentioned this morning. Let's see here. Let's start with this. These are few. So this morning I mentioned few day two longs. Taiwan Semi. Let's start with UNH, CVNA. These were top three, and the banks. So I clearly mentioned these are our top plays, right? You see 20 minutes, 15 minutes before the market opened, I mentioned that. So I mentioned that, and then let's see first one here. What was UNH doing? So UNH was initially a long. That's why I gave everybody, once I see this candle, it's a long. It's over this is our plan. Day two repeatable setups. Ivan tweeted about this as well. And it was a beautiful from support to resistance, and 500 psych was the lower pivot, but 509, 5014. But when our system tells us it's day too long, we long it. So that was a nice day too long, and I gave the target of MTF. We went a little closer. We did push, you can see, from 512s and all the way to 513s to 520s. Easy money there. 100% on the Lotto options as well, and of course with shares, it's amazing. We were expecting the rejection of the clouds, but it rejected there. That's fine. That's a $7 move, good profit, and then it gave the short. This is where it gave the short at the 512 breaks, and then you fade it down back. So that's the beauty of the day two, day three setups, guys. That's why I teach you this strategy. Nobody has the strategy that I teach you, and it's stress-free day two, day three setups, easy to trade, and you can trade it both sides. Look like how UNH did. Now let's look at the second day two setup, CVNA. What was that doing? That was a short, right? If it's under the clouds, breaking the support pivot that I give you, you take the short, right? 233, 231, 235 resistance. It's not pushing over 235 means it's not a long. It's breaking those 231 resistance support means it's a short. So that was the short. There's so much going on. I even need to guide the traders on CVNA. the traders killed it. CVNA on their own in the community. Wiki shorted it. Beautiful. Everybody, RGV, beautiful guidance on CVNA. All day trend, bearish trend. So everything was, the Aladdin did really good. Very proud of that trade that Aladdin took. So you see that how everybody in the community is executing this repeatable set. Now let's look at the banks. Right, so let's look at the banks, or you can, or if you want, you can just look at XLF finance. You don't need to trade individual names. The reason I had all the banks on the game plan, because I know if they're not moving on the earning days, they can move on the next day, or they can move the day after. So that's why I highlighted the Morgan Stanley from yesterday earnings and JPM, Wells Fargo, all these from the day prior. So this is very important. That's why I highlighted from the day prior. So that is our day 2, day 3 repeatable concept. And take any of those, if you want to take any of those banks, look at JP Morgan. Initially bearish, 512 curls, went all the way from 253 to 59. So much there. Morgan Stanley, the levels I gave, the main setup, amateur move red, bullish all the way up. So any bank you take, or you see that they give you opportunities. No, if not in the open, during the midday. So something I want to try and teach here is that repeatable setups, and that's our day 2, day 3 strategy. Traders often struggle finding what to trade. We never struggle to find what to trade. We always have what we need to trade. So also Lilly was also one great example of that. You see that Lilly day 2, Lilly had earnings. It's a day 3 actually, and there's a profit target lowered to 973 right there. And I think NVO had a news as well. We'll cover that. And Lilly was a short all day. Look at the levels that I gave in the pre-market. 752, 750, 759, and Lilly fading. Not even a single time it came over the clouds, and the puts went 200, 300, 400%, guys. Watch the previous Lotto options. I'm not covering too much on the options today. I covered most in Tesla and MSTR, but watch the previous YouTube recaps. You will learn a lot. So let's talk about another one. Let's talk about DJT today. So DJT was a long in the morning, and then it broke down, and it's a break-even trade there on DJT. Nothing special. It was a long when I gave it in the morning, but then it was this long right here, 41 to 43.40. But then it break down right here on the 512s. So it becomes a scratch or loser depending upon where you got it. So let's go to the next one. All right, let's look at NVO now. Let's see what was happening on NVO. So NVO is also on a game plan. Let's see here. NVO was right here. Bearish bias. Ozempic targeted in a Medicare price negotiations. Bank of right rating. Bearish bias because it was gapping down. But when it started to curl here, right here at 512s, that was a long. And then it hits the target, 34.50. And then it becomes a short. Same as time as Lilly, because you need to understand they're the same things, the obesity drugs. So they are going to tank same at the same time. So you can see that it turned a short here. And then we hit here, and then it becomes a short. You fade it all day back. So again, another repeatable system. So JBHT was a chop loser, because if you see the game plan was short under 34.50. But you short here, it bounces right back, stays in the range, up, down, you take out, get out here right away, take the loss and move on. I was giving the short on it, but it did not work. And then it, this is not what we want, $2-3 move up. So it was a chop loser in the community today. NVIDIA was a good long today, mostly voice guidance on NVIDIA. So it's same thing. And it did the MTF breakout. I alerted that. My target was 138.50. We top ticked the 138.50 and then went into the chop zone. So you need to understand when stock is doing a chop or it's going sideways, you need to understand that. Where is my I lost my okay. All right. So anyways, I'm trying to see, you see this is the chop. This is the chop. This area is all chop. You'd have nothing to do with that area. Your main profit trade was right here. But you see how the MTF pushed 50 MA and 20. So today was all about day 2, day 3 setups. It was all about the Lotto's education of the Lotto trading, all about trading the earning setups. So hopefully you guys learned something today. Take care. Bye bye. Good luck.